హలో ఎవ్రీవన్, చాలా మంది డెవాప్స్ అండ్ క్లౌడ్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ అటెండ్ అవుతున్నారు. ఆ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్లో ఏంటంటే 60-70% ఆఫ్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ టెరాఫార్మ్ నుంచి, డాకర్ అండ్ క్యూబర్నెటిస్ నుంచి వస్తున్నాయి. ఇవి కొంచెం అడ్వాన్స్డ్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అనమాట డెవాప్స్ అండ్ క్లౌడ్లో. చాలా మంది డెవాప్స్ అండ్ క్లౌడ్ని ఎక్కడెక్కడో నేర్చుకుని ఉంటారు ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్స్లో. అక్కడ ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళకి టెరాఫార్మ్ కానీ, డాకర్, క్యూబర్నెటిస్ కానీ ప్రాపర్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసి ఉండరు. ప్రాక్టికల్గా ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్తో వాళ్ళకి ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఇచ్చి ఉండరు అనమాట. సో అందుకని వాళ్ళు చాలా స్ట్రగుల్ అవుతున్నారు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ ఫేస్ చేయడానికి, డెవాప్స్ అండ్ క్లౌడ్ నేర్చుకున్నా కూడా. అలానే ఆల్రెడీ రియల్ టైమ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉండే వాళ్ళు డెవాప్స్ అండ్ క్లౌడ్లో కూడా టెరాఫార్మ్, డాకర్, క్యూబర్నెటిస్ని అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకోవడానికి చాలా స్ట్రగుల్ అవుతున్నారు. అందుకని నేను అన్అకాడమీ పార్ట్నర్షిప్తో కలిసి ఒక కోర్స్ లాంచ్ చేశాను, టెరాఫార్మ్, డాకర్ విత్ క్యూబర్నెటిస్ అని. ఇది సెకండ్ బ్యాచ్. ఫస్ట్ బ్యాచ్ ఆల్రెడీ కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది. చాలా మంది ప్లేస్ అయ్యారు. వాళ్ళకి ప్రాక్టికల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ కానీ, రియల్ టైమ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ కానీ చాలా ప్రాపర్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ వచ్చింది. చాలా మంది ప్లేస్ అయ్యారు కూడా. సో అందుకని చాలా మంది నన్ను మళ్ళీ అడిగారు ఎప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నారని. అందుకని నిన్ననే నేను సెకండ్ బ్యాచ్ స్టార్ట్ చేశాను, టెరాఫార్మ్, డాకర్ అండ్ క్యూబర్నెటిస్. డీటెయిల్స్ వచ్చి డిస్క్రిప్షన్లో ఇచ్చాను చూడండి. సెషన్ 1 కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది. సెషన్ 1లో ఏంటంటే అసలు టెరాఫార్మ్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ని సెటప్ ఎలా చేయాలి, దాని తర్వాత అసలు టెరాఫార్మ్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ యాజ్ ఎ కోడ్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఎందుకు మనం యూస్ చేయాలి, దాన్ని యూస్ చేయడం వల్ల అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఏంటి అనేది నేను చాలా డీటెయిల్డ్గా విత్ ప్రూఫ్ చూపించాను సెషన్ 1లో. మీరు ఈ సెషన్ పూర్తిగా చూస్తే తప్ప మీకు అర్థం కాదు. వాట్ ఈస్ టెరాఫార్మ్, వాట్ ఈస్ IAAC అనేది ఏదో మీరు వెబ్సైట్లో కొట్టేసి ఆ వచ్చిన ఆన్సర్ని మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్లో చెప్పారంటే 200% మిమ్మల్ని రిజెక్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఎందుకంటే మీకుండే అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఏంటి, మీరు నిజంగా టెరాఫార్మ్లో కానీ, డాకర్, క్యూబర్నెటిస్లో కానీ వర్క్ చేశారా లేదా అనేది మీరు చెప్పే ఆన్సర్స్ని బట్టి ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఇంటర్నెట్లో చదువుకున్న ఆన్సర్స్ రిపీట్ చేస్తే మాత్రం డెఫినెట్లీ మిమ్మల్ని సెలెక్ట్ చేయరు. అందుకని ఈ సెషన్ మొత్తం చూసి అసలు టెరాఫార్మ్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఎందుకు యూస్ చేయాలి అనేది మిమ్మల్ని మీరే కన్విన్స్ అయ్యేలాగా నేను ఈ సెషన్ చెప్పాను. ఇది మొత్తం చూడండి, చాలా డీటెయిల్గా ఉంటుంది. చూసిన తర్వాత మీరు అసలు టెరాఫార్మ్ గురించి ప్రాపర్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ అనేది తెచ్చుకోండి. మీకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంటే డీటెయిల్స్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్లో ఉన్నాయి, కోర్స్ జాయిన్ అవ్వండి. డెఫినెట్లీ చాలా యూస్ఫుల్గా ఉంటుంది, కంప్లీట్లీ రియల్ టైమ్ ఉంటుంది. సో థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ వాచింగ్. ఈ రికార్డింగ్ మొత్తం చూడండి.
Hi, can someone please confirm the audio and video is clear? Okay, thank you. Yeah, welcome to the training course Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. So through this course, we are going to cover project infrastructure automation through Terraform, and then microservices deployment into the Kubernetes cluster through Docker images. So this, I can say this is mostly 60-70% of the DevOps and AWS, okay? So today, since it's the first session, we need to set up the environment and we will discuss the introduction. Okay, first setting up the environment is very important. You should also complete this by today. After this session, I will share the recording. You can find the recording here. So now it is showing join class. Once the class is ended, you can just click this. It will show up the recording here. Okay, so every day recording will be updated within 2 hours. And if you have any doubts, you can have community chat here. In discussions, you can raise your questions, but don't do chatting like this. For example, if you have a question, you can just type like this. I have a query, something. If you have a query, and if you want to update that query, you can directly reply here. Don't start a new thread. That is very difficult to read. Okay, so like this. So you can help each other. Suppose if one person raised a query and if another person knows the answer, they can reply here so that you can also learn. So now let us concentrate on setting up the environment. Okay, so this is our laptop and we are going to use VS Code. VS Code is going to be our IDE. So integrated development environment. So you can use anything. You can use Notepad, you can use Notepad++, you can use any Atom, Any ID you can use, IntelliJ, whatever, but VS Code is more easy and popular. So that's why I prefer VS Code. All of you can download VS Code. It is free. Just like VLC Media Player, you can download and install. Okay. This is the first one you should download. And after that, you download Git Bash. This will be like a command prompt. And then Terraform. So first we need to download Terraform and then set up. So this is the AWS infrastructure automation, right? We are going to discuss. So Terraform needs to connect to AWS cloud to create the resources, to provision the resources, create or provision the resources. But we need to be authenticated. Suppose I have a cloud account. You should not create the resources in my cloud account. So for that purpose, we need to have some authentication. Authentication will be provided by AWS CLI. Okay, so we will concentrate on these steps today. Please focus carefully. And then you complete the setup before next class on tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to AWS CLI v2. I'm going to download this. Windows. This is the CLI v2. Use CLI v2. Just click next only, nothing much. Okay, so this will be installed, and then Terraform download. Windows AMD 64, our laptops are Intel processors. Okay, here I have a folder called softwares. You can keep it wherever you want. Extracting. Terraform.exe. So this is the one. Okay, so once you download it, you cannot get the access directly. For example, git bash. Just by downloading, you cannot get the Terraform package. Oh, sorry. This is from the old one, I think. So once you downloaded and kept here, you need to add this path to the system environment variables. Just type here variables, edit system environment variables. Here you need to go for environment variables and then path, edit it, and you should have your path where your terraform.exe. So I have my terraform.exe here. So I'm keeping my path and then just click on new, paste it. Okay, okay, and then okay. So you downloaded terraform.exe and then you added the folder to the system environment variable path. And when you come here, then if you type Terraform version, you can see the Terraform version. So this is how you install Terraform. And we install AWS CLI v2, and then VS Code also you can install, and then later Git Bash. Why I'm using Git Bash is it is somewhat flexible and more colorful than Windows command prompt. Download for Windows, that's it. So install all these packages. Okay, how this setup will work is you write your Terraform code in Visual Studio, and then you run Terraform commands. While Terraform applying to the AWS cloud, it will connect with AWS CLI for authentication purpose. Okay, so when you have your AWS CLI installed, you come here and then run a command AWS configure. Okay, so AWS configure, you need to provide the AWS access key and secret key. So log into your AWS account. Go to IAM. So I'm creating one user with administration access to create the infrastructure. Go to users, add user, Terraform, next, attach policies. I'm adding administrator access and create user. Okay, once you create the user, click on it, security credentials. There is create access key, command line interface, accept, next, create access key. So now it will give you AWS access key and secret key. Okay, so you need to copy this, or you can download the CSV file. Once if it is shows, if you come out of this console, again, you cannot see this. Okay, copy this. This is very sensitive. You should not upload these credentials to any GitHub or to any internet websites. Okay. I will delete this later, this user, since it is already exposed to you guys. We are going to work in Mumbai region, that is 8P South 1. Okay. That is how you configure AWS. Just to test AWS S3 LS. Yeah, I'm getting the response. So when you configure AWS properly, downloading AWS CLI v2 and then AWS configure, and if you run AWS S3 LS, what it is doing is AWS CLI is connecting to the AWS cloud with the access key and secret key, and it is fetching the S3 buckets. Then it means the authentication is successful. Terraform, internally, it will call AWS CLI v2 and it will take the authentication and then it will create the resources in AWS cloud. So is this clear? Any doubts still here? You can type in chat. Or I'm lowering all the hands right now. If you still have any doubt, you can just ask the doubts related to this topic. Okay. Yes, Hanuman.
You got that S3 bucket details, right? By default, it will come while we connected to AWS, is it?
No, I have S3 buckets in this account, so that is why it is able to show. If you don't have, anyhow, at least it will not show you error.
Okay. Okay, you already configured in that account.
Yeah, I have one bucket,
Okay.
so that is why it is listed. If you don't have, then it will not list.
Okay. Okay. So, if anything not configured yet, what the confirmation we will get at the time of that command execution to connect AWS? Yeah, here.
For example, if you delete this, then it will not show you error. Just it will give you no response.
Okay.
That's it. If it is error, it will clearly show you the error.
Okay, what the command I should use? Just AWS instead of S3 is there.
Yes.
So you typed it at AWS S3 LS.
Yeah.
If it is nothing is there, just I have connected.
If there are no buckets in the account, it will not show you any response.
So what's the command I should use? Just AWS is it, or what? What's the command? In that case,
AWS S3.
Okay.
AWS S3 LS, just to test whether the authentication is working or not, I used it.
Yes.
If you have buckets, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, Sai Krishna. Just ask the doubts related to this, okay?
Yeah, hi, Siva.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, sure. Only one thing. These things and all you will explain on AWS only, right? Means along these things I need means we need to create the AWS accounts and.
Yeah, all of you should have AWS account.
Okay.
Okay, mostly we will use free tier usage only.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Yeah, fine. So this is how we are setting up our Windows laptop to connect to AWS account. Okay. So now we need to understand why Terraform is very important, why Terraform is very popular. Just for today's session, I'm going to create one VPC. I'll create one VPC. I'll create private subnet. Before that, I'll create internet gateway, private subnet and public subnet, public route table, private route table, and then associations. First, I will do this manually, and then later I will do it with Terraform. Then you can see how much easy it is, and I will justify why Terraform is popular and why you should learn. Okay. So this is the VPC. I'm creating one VPC now. For example, Terraform course. And then 10.0.0.0/16. So I created VPC and internet gateway. Terraform course. I will attach this with our VPC and then subnets. For Terraform course, I'm creating one subnet, public subnet. (10.0.1.0/24) is the CIDR. Creating subnet, again creating one more subnet, private subnet, 10.0.2.0/24. Okay, I created public subnet and private subnet. Route table I'm going to create, that is public route. Attached to our VPC, create route table. And then private route table. Okay. So in this public route, we are going to add internet through internet gateway. Okay. The difference between public route table and private route table is public route table will have the internet. Private route table will not have any route to the internet. So that is the basic difference. So when you create these two, you need to associate. Just by name public subnet, it will not become public subnet. Okay, you need to attach this to the route table, subnet associations, and here edit subnet associations. I'm adding public subnet to the public route table so that it will have internet access. Private route table, again edit, and then private subnet. Okay. So usually we will have NAT gateway. Terraform course. NAT gateway we will create in public subnet generally with one elastic IP address. Once this is created, then we will attach this to the private subnet. Okay, let me draw this. AWS cloud. So I will show you the difference. So what is the difference when you create manually, and then after that, when you create with Terraform, what is the difference? I'll show you. Okay, so this is our AWS cloud, and we have VPC. And we have internet gateway. So if you understand manually, then it is very easy to create through automation. Okay. You should understand manually first. Public subnet. This is public subnet. And we have private subnet. And we will have route table. This is public route table. This is private. Just focus on this. How I created. And this is connected to our this route. Okay, I created VPC. I created internet gateway. I attached internet gateway with VPC, and I created one public subnet, one private subnet. This is public route table. And this is private route table. And I associated the public route table with public subnet, private route table with private subnet. And we have one NAT gateway. So NAT gateway, we will launch it in public subnet. So this is very important question in interviews, right? How NAT gateway will work. So NAT gateway, we used to launch it in public subnet. and we add it as a route into the private subnet so that it can have internet access. Go to route tables and then private route table. Here routes, edit routes, add route, internet, but this is through the NAT gateway. Okay, so this is how the general VPC architecture. I'll draw the diagrams neatly again, and I'll update into our repositories. Since this is the first class, we're just discussing. Okay, so this is how we create VPC, Internet Gateway, public subnet, private subnet, public route table, private route table, NAT gateway, all these things. So it took around 15 to 20 minutes time to complete this everything. Okay, no need to worry about this. Okay, this is I want to prove you how Terraform is useful, but you should know all these things, how it works manually. Now the same thing I will do with Terraform. So this is the code we have. We are going to reach this stage. You no need to worry about this. Okay, just I'm using it for now. Now it is successfully configured. So initial setup always will have some problems. So this is also actually a latest laptop, so that is why. Okay, now it is done. Now Terraform apply target module.vpc. Okay, don't worry about what is happening in the background. So we will learn this. This is from the previous batch. We have configured everything: certificates, load balancers, CloudFront, ECS, and then VPC, database, security groups, Route 53, everything we have configured. So I'm just running you to tell the advantages of Terraform. So usually in interviews, they will ask, explain infrastructure as a code. What do you understand by Terraform? For example, if you search that in internet, what is Terraform interview question? So usually people who learn Terraform, they will say answers from this. Okay, so they will say answers this from this. They will simply read the answers. They will by heart the answer, and then they will tell in the interviews. But opposite side, if I am doing the interview, if you tell these kind of answers, I can easily recognize you didn't work on Terraform, you didn't practice, you are just simply preparing and telling the answer. But now we will prepare the answer with some proofs. So it is a single command it is doing. Now let us prepare the answer from what is Terraform and what are the advantages. Okay, Terraform is IAAC tool. This is infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code in the sense, I created the infrastructure here. I went to VPC console and then I did some clicks. I gave some inputs and then I clicked next, and then I created VPC. But here, if you see, this is the code I have written. So the entire infrastructure, whatever I created manually, the same way I created here. Okay, so that is why it is called as infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure means generally, if you take any state infrastructure or country infrastructure, so the infrastructure means road connectivity, train connectivity, air connectivity, and then power resources, water resources. These are all coming under infrastructure. If you have proper infrastructure, then you can get a lot of companies to your country, to your state, then your country will become more developed country, right? Similarly, if you have proper infrastructure, then applications can be deployed very easily on top of the infrastructure. So this infrastructure automation we are doing through the Terraform IAAC, infrastructure as a code. Now the first advantage here we have is automated infra CRUD. CRUD is nothing but create, read, update, and delete. So this is the meaning of CRUD, right? So you can create the infrastructure automatically just with the single 2-3 commands. I created the infrastructure. Now you come here and then see we got the one VPC and we got some subnets, database subnet, private subnet, public subnet. We got some route tables. We got internet gateways, and then we got elastic IP. I created through the code now, and then we got NAT gateways. This is the NAT gateway I created now. So all the associations are also done. If you check here, timing, private, the associations also done automatically. So Terraform can clearly automate the infrastructure automate the infrastructure. So within minutes, you can create entire infrastructure. Okay. And reading. By seeing here, for example, if I ask you to tell me about your project infrastructure, what you have to do, you have to go to the console and you should understand, okay, I have one VPC, and you go to the subnets and you will understand, okay, I have 2 subnets. You come here and you will understand I have 2 route tables. So AWS will have thousands of services. How do you know how much infrastructure you have? It is very difficult to go through the console and then check what are the resources you have. But in Terraform, you can see here, by seeing this, you can say these are the private subnet, these are the database subnets, and in the code you can generally see that. For example, I'm calling this actually. So this is our module. It's generally here. By seeing this, you can easily tell what are the resources you have. That is what I mean by read and update. You can do any changes here. You can do a simple change, for example, something, timing, public, change. I'm giving this change. I'm updating the name. And then you apply. Don't worry about these commands, all those things. We will anyhow learn this from tomorrow. But before learning, we should understand why are we learning this. Okay, you just come here and then check. It immediately reflected. Okay, so updating the infrastructure is also very easy through Terraform, and you can delete. I can delete it at the end. Okay, if you just give destroy, then it will delete within minutes. So this point you should mention: automatic infrastructure creation, updation, deletion, and you can read at any time what are the infra resources you have. So this is the first point. And then version control. Version control is the main advantage. Now my infrastructure is this one. If your client asks you to change something else, then you can create here and then you will push it to the GitHub like this. And here you can see the versions. Versions is nothing but your commit IDs. Okay. So you will have all the history of your infrastructure. For example, you are at this stage right now. And if your client wants to go to the previous infrastructure version, then you can immediately restore to the previous version. Okay, so that is the main advantage. So since it is code, we can keep it in Git and track it properly. It is easy to collaborate also with other team members. So Git is nothing but for collaboration. You can maintain versions of your infra. Okay. So this is another advantage. And then consistent infra, I can say. So usually problem in infrastructure is in dev, we have one kind of infrastructure. In QA, we have another kind of infrastructure. And in production, we have different kind of infrastructure. So in everywhere, this is the problem. It is working in development environment and QA environment, but not working in production environment. If you have consistent infra in all the environments, then it is very easy to tell you where the problem is. Okay. And it is very difficult to create the similar kind of infrastructure through the console. You may forget few steps. But if you do with this code, the same code you run against production environment, then it will create the similar kind of infrastructure. Okay. Using Terraform code, you can create similar infrastructure in all environments without duplicating. Okay, this is one of the advantage. And another advantage is inventory management. So now for a project, you may be using a lot of databases, load balancers, EKS clusters, and then EC2 servers and cache servers. You may be using a lot of AWS resources. Tomorrow, if your client comes to you and then they will ask you, what are the resources we are using, what in which regions? Then if you have to provide that report, it is also very difficult to go to the console and fetch the resources. But by seeing the Terraform itself, you can see what are the resources you have and which regions you have. Okay, that is the good advantage of Terraform. By seeing form code, we can understand the resources we are using. Okay, you don't need to go to console and fetch the report. Okay, so this is a major advantage again. And another thing is cost optimization. Okay, when you are not using these resources, if you want to delete this, then how can you delete? For example, if you come here and then try to delete this, will it allow you to delete? It is not allowing because it is saying it has some dependencies on network interface. It has some dependencies on NAT gateways. Then you have to go to the NAT gateway and delete NAT gateway first and network interfaces. There are a lot of dependencies. Okay. But in Terraform, there is automatic dependency resolution. Automatic dependency resolution. So just say this again. I want to delete this VPC. But it is saying you cannot delete, you have some dependencies. Now I have to go to each and every dependency and read out and delete this and then coming back to the VPC and delete. But here, a single command can delete it easily. You don't need to worry about the dependencies. Terraform will take care of all those dependencies. You can see it deleted within seconds. Oh no. I applied, sorry. You need to destroy. Just give destroy. Just give S. Then it will take care of dependency resolution. Terraform will take care of dependency resolution while creating as well as updating or deleting the resources. So this is also another greatest advantage. Now, when it comes to cost optimization, so you are creating a lot of resources through in a lot of services like RDS you create, and you forget few resources to delete. For example, if you leave RDS to run, then it will give you $1,000 bill per monthly. Okay, if you forget to delete one resource. But generally, Terraform with a single command, it is deleting each and every resource. Okay. Similarly, it created infra within minutes. It can destroy the infra within minutes so that we can reduce cost and other problem of forgetting resources to delete. Okay, so this is one of the problem you can solve with Terraform. And final thing is modular infra. This is very important in Terraform. We are going to concentrate on this topic also. Terraform modules. Now, whatever I am showing here, okay, you just see 18 lines of code. This 18 lines of code is creating a lot of resources, but the actual code is running here. These are called Terraform modules. So what is modularization is nothing but there is a principle called dry principle. Don't repeat yourself. Okay, it means there is project A. They create some Terraform code. And project B, they also create. Just like that, project N. So instead of creating the code for each and every project, what you do is central code, common Terraform code. Okay, you create a central code. Project A, instead of creating their own code, they can simply call central code. Project B. You can have 1,000 projects in your company. Okay, each project, they no need to create the infrastructure from the scratch. We create the code like this. Okay, so this is the VPC module. Then this is the project A. They can supply some information, some parameters. Then the resources will be created. Similarly, if project B comes up, they will also supply some mandatory parameters to our common code. Then our module can create the resources. So what I mean to say is every project, they no need to create Terraform code. Can create Terraform modules. A single Terraform module can be used by your all projects in your company. So that is called modular infra. Nothing but code reuse. Code reuse. You can have Terraform modules created any number of projects can call this module to create infrastructure instead of writing from the scratch. Okay, so this is not only code reuse and some standards also. So if you ask project A, project B, project until project N, so they don't follow some best standards. Okay, they write their own code. These guys, they write their own code. Again, you need to go to each and every project and you need to check their code whether they are writing proper code or not. Instead of doing like that, in this central code, you can have common Terraform and best standards implementation. Common security policies, all those things you can implement here, so that anyone in your company or anyone in your project, they can consume this. Okay, so this is the another advantage. Okay, so now you can see all our resources are destroyed. You just come and check here. There is no resources we created. Okay, so these are the greatest advantages. So if you are able to tell the answer like this in your own words, how you will get it this kind of answer? If you practice properly daily, whatever we are learning here, if you practice it, if you write it with your own hand, and if you practice multiple times, then you will get more confidence to tell the answer like this. And then there will be no other questions. They can be easily convinced by your answers. Okay. So these are the infrastructure as a code principles. So today you can set up the environment and you can run one simple resource. For example, I'm going to create one folder, EC2 instance. Here, there will be provider.tf. Okay. So what is provider? Terraform providers. Okay. Terraform is infrastructure as a code. You can create AWS resources, Azure resources, Google Cloud, and other cloud, Oracle, Alibaba. You have many other things. Okay. Terraform can integrate with anything, not only AWS cloud, anything. You can create, you can develop providers of your website, then Terraform can integrate with that as well. Okay. Not only cloud environments, other software also. For example, it can integrate with GitHub as well. To search GitHub. Okay, it can integrate with GitHub as well. So here we are going to use AWS providers. How to use this provider? This is the one. So when you are using Terraform, first thing is you need to create provider.tf. TF is the extension. This is the mandatory extension for Terraform.tf. So when you are using Visual Studio Code, come here, go to extension and search Terraform. Install this one, Terraform extension. Okay, then you will get nice colors. So what this provider is saying, provider, I am going to use AWS, and inside this required providers, source is HashiCorp AWS and then version. So in this provider block, what is the important thing is which provider you are connecting to and version. Okay. So here generally we will give our region also. Okay, we are going to use AWS provider, and then the source is HashiCorp/AWS. Version is like this, and region is like this. Now I want to create EC2, EC2.tf. So it is always good to create a separate file provider.tf. Okay, and in EC2.tf, so we are going to use Terraform documentation only. Terraform EC2. Resource. So we are creating resource. And what is this? AWS instance. AWS instance is nothing but AWS EC2. And you have to name it. This name can be your wish. Okay. And that's it. This is the syntax. AWS instance is nothing but AWS EC2. And you have to give some name. It can be your wish, but we will also discuss what are the best standards to give the name. Now here, when you are creating EC2 instance, just check here. It will give you all the options available. What is the AMI, which availability zone, and it will tell you which is required and which is optional as well. Okay. Now the required thing is AMI. AMI is nothing but which AMI you want to use. So for any instance to create, what are the things you need to select? OS, CPU, RAM, and then hard disk storage. These are the things, right? So you come here and you give some name and you select your AMIs. Okay, we are going to use, for example, AMI, this one. This is the AMI ID. Since they say it is required, I am going to give AMI equal to like this. And then what else is required? Instance type. Instance type is also required. Just type instance type. Okay. The instance type, we are going to select free tier. Okay, t2.micro. Okay, that's it. These two are the required values. Everything else is optional. So this is the syntax, very easy. This is called as HashiCorp configuration language, HCL. You are saying, I'm going to create a resource of type AWS instance. This is nothing but EC2. And you have to give some name, give the mandatory parameters, just like when you are creating the instance in UI, you have to select the AMI, you have to select the instance type, all those things. Remaining are all default parameters. So now you need to be in the path where you have the provider.tf and other TF files. Okay. So here I have ec2.tf, provider.tf, right? So you need to run your Terraform commands here. Otherwise, Terraform command will not work. For example, if you run Terraform command here, Terraform init, it is saying Terraform files are not there. Okay, you should be inside the directory where you have the Terraform files. Terraform init is the first command. So what Terraform init will do is, Terraform init will connect to the AWS provider. So it will read this provider information and then it will download. It is downloading in the background. Let's wait for 1 minute. Okay, if you see here, .terraform folder is created, and you can check there is a Terraform provider AWS is downloaded. Okay. So that is the initialization. It is downloading the provider. Once the init is done, then you can go for Terraform plan. So Terraform plan will not create the resources. It will give you an idea of what resources it is going to create. It is saying, I'm going to add one resource, and this is the information. Okay. So now Terraform apply. You need to just provide your S. Okay, now it is creating the instance here. You can see it is creating. So it will take 1 minute. So the commands are Terraform init to download the providers and other configuration. Terraform plan. Will not create the resources. It will give us an idea of what it is going to create. Terraform apply. Create the resources. Okay, it is saying it's done. You can just come here, it's running. Now to destroy, Terraform destroy. Instead of saying yes, you can just give auto approve. And then it will be destroyed. You can see here. Okay, you don't need to worry about the one I used, this one. Okay, just for the demonstration purpose, I used this. Okay, just watch it, the recording, and understand these 7 options, these 7 advantages, and you try creating this one. Easy to instance today, and understand the provider syntax. This is the syntax. This is the syntax across Terraform. There is no change at all. This is the syntax only. Resource, which type of resource you are creating, and what is the name, and what are the mandatory parameters you should provide. Okay, we can stop till here today. So let us take a few questions. Harish Reddy, you have some question? Yeah, hi. Your voice is very low. Your voice is very low. You can type. Srinath, you have some question?
Yeah, is it okay now?
Yeah, it is okay now. Yeah, tell me.
So how can we learn to write the Terraform code? Is it YAML or is it something different?
No, it's not YAML. This is the syntax I was telling you. Very simple
And,
syntax.
I don't know why your screen was not capturing full. I think I was seeing a half of the screen. I don't know about others.
So no one reported the problem.
I don't know. Maybe it's my side.
Okay.
So, and first few minutes I missed the session. Like, do we need to install Visual Code, Visual
Yeah.
Studio, and Terraform, right?
Yes. So you'll get the recording, watch it, and then set up that. You need to
Okay, sure.
install Visual Studio Code. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Most welcome. Sai Krishna, you have some question?
Yeah, hi Siva. So
Yeah,
you
hi.
are giving VM name is your wish something. If tomorrow
Yeah.
someone will come and give same name means again it will create or it will.
No, just I want to tell you, this is under our control. This is mandatory. Okay. So I want to tell you, this is under our control. You can give any name you want. So that's why I just mentioned here your wish. Generally, you cannot create the resource like this.
No, I am not asking like that. If in organization environment we have unique names, right, for VMs.
Yeah.
If we are at a time, two names will come means multiple people use Terraform, right?
No, anyhow, we will take care of that later.
Okay.
Duplicate.
Whatever you said is correct.
Duplicate,
Yeah,
yes.
we should
Duplicate.
not have duplicates. Yes, that's correct. This is the combination. Okay, you cannot create another resource of same name like this. Okay, for example, if you try to create, then it will give you error.
Okay.
Okay, but another resource you can have. This is the combination. AWS instance, your wish. You can have another resource, but same name. For example, let me take Elastic IP, create an Elastic IP. If I give same name, do you think it will work or not?
I think it will work because that is VM. This is.
Yeah, so combinations, you should not have the same thing. You should not have another resource of AWS instance with the same name. Okay, this naming best strategies anyhow we are going to learn. No need to worry.
And second thing is you are using GitHub, right? Git.
Yeah, I'm
something.
going to use GitHub. Yes.
No. You are running commands and which command from that is?
This is Git bash. You can use CMD also,
Okay.
but this is more colorful. That's why I'm using this.
Oh, this is also freeware, right?
Yeah, it is free.
And one last thing, what is the difference? Means I am not much familiar in AWS. I am working on Azure only. May I know the difference between Internet Gateway and NAT Gateway?
NAT gateway is like your private instances. They cannot have internet connectivity, right? Private means you don't have internet connectivity.
Yes.
So others, for example, RDS. Public cannot reach your RDS instance, correct?
Yes.
So this is private, but your RDS needs some updates. So I can say, so this is your RDS, and users cannot reach directly to your RDS because there is no connectivity. So this is not possible actually, but your RDS needs to contact internet to pull some updates. Okay, for example,
That time proxy
this is
server
the
was available,
internet.
right?
So proxy server is old one.
Okay.
NAT gateway is the latest one.
Okay.
This is also proxy functionality only. This private subnet connecting to internet through NAT gateway. You can call this as proxy.
Okay.
If you create proxy server, who will manage that proxy server again?
Proxy
you have to manage, right? Instead of having another proxy server, proxy team, and all the knowledge, AWS is giving you one service, that is NAT gateway.
Okay. How about Internet Gateway?
That is just like modem.
Okay.
If you are well Azure in internet gateway,
Yeah.
similar service in Azure. You can search like this. So this is automatic in Azure. Okay.
Yeah, there is no service like this.
So generally, if you have any network, for example, you have your home network, how you get internet? Through modem only, right?
Yeah.
So that is the internet gateway. But in Azure, they are saying they will do it automatically.
Okay. Means NAT gateway also provide internet and internet gateway also provide internet.
NAT gateway is like a proxy.
Okay, it will not show our IP, it will show some other IP to the internet.
IP also you don't care. Just you want internet through your instances, then NAT gateway will take care of everything. Will not give you any IP address also. AWS will take care of it.
Okay.
Our responsibility is to connect. That's it.
Yeah, one question, please. Here we will make to public and private, right? We open the network from the AWS. How we will do? There is some little bit changes required, right? Here, yeah.
Which one?
Okay. In firewall, just we will open port ATR 443 to make the public.
That is security group. We'll discuss later. So all of you guys, you should have some basic AWS knowledge.
Yeah. You said that something we make it to public. You said that, right? We make it to internet. You said that.
That is nothing but internet gateway. If you check public route table,
yeah.
So here the route is going to be with internet.
Okay.
So generally, for example, if you take any home network also, for example, this is your home. This is your home. And there is modem. Your laptop's connected to modem. Then what do you say? Your laptop is connected to internet. Right?
Yeah.
So another laptop, it may not be connected to the Wi-Fi. Then what is it? It is private. So outside guys, they don't have access to this.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can make a connection between these two. Right?
Yeah.
You can create one network between these two.
Yeah.
Similar.
So internal, okay, intranet something you said that like.
So you can say this is intranet.
Yeah. Okay. I think misunderstand in the previous case what you said on that route table. You make it active those IPs. I thought that is something open to the public something.
Yeah. Now you got it right.
Yeah.
Premnath Reddy, you have some question?
Hello.
Yeah.
I have a query of this NAT gateway. So you are using a NAT gateway. Instead of using NAT gateway, we can use NAT instances.
NAT gateway is the advanced version of NAT instance.
Okay. So basically, it is useful for we are creating any private route tables, so we can use NAT instances.
Yeah, you can use NAT instance or NAT gateway.
Okay. So any difference between these two?
Yeah, I think I recommend you go and then read it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
David Pavan, you have some question?
Yeah, hi Shiva. As we are using different environments, are we gonna use different workspaces to build that Terraform code?
Workspace is not a proper solution actually. We are going to control it through the terraform.tfs. Okay, it is one of the option, but it is not recommended.
Yes. I am asking this question just as we are using Terraform workspaces for different environments. So that's why I'm asking. Here also we can use different.
Yeah, I'll show you 3 ways: using Terraform workspace, using separate code base,
Mhm.
and using Terraform.tf vars.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one more question is here we are creating different TF files. When we apply, it only apply main.tf, right? So when I want to apply a particular TF file, how can I apply that
That's
one?
what I did actually. Terraform apply. You have to use target. Yeah, all
That
these
one
options we will
is,
discuss in future sessions.
yeah. That one is only for modules, right? Target option.
No, it will work for resources also.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So anyhow, you are telling advanced concepts.
No.
We'll discuss slowly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Lalita, you have some question?
Yeah, hi Shiva.
Yeah. Hi.
Actually, in the providers to TF, we are giving like a region name also, right? Like if I am having like multiple regions, suppose my client he is having like a 3 regions. So in that case, like how the same infra it has to be set up, but like can we give?
You can do like this. You can create another just give another block,
Mhm.
Diaz, and here, wherever you want, for example, ACM here, I want it in US East. So in this resource, you can provide which region you want. Okay, we will see this. We will see these
Okay,
options. Okay,
Oh,
you can
okay.
create resources in multiple AWS accounts, in multiple regions. You can do any way. Okay, we'll discuss that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Vinod Kumar.
Yeah, hi, Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
Actually, you are creating every time a folder to create a Terraform file, right?
Hmm.
So every time we need to init in that folder.
Folder is good, right? Instead of, for example, here why I have multiple folders instead of having everything in single folder. So that's for maintenance purpose.
Okay, if you want to apply a ec2.tf, so for that we need to give Terraform init while
in
applying.
This folder, whatever the TF files you have, all those will be applied. Okay.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Sunil Kumar.
సో మామూలుగా మనం గిట్ బ్యాష్ లోనే చేస్తామా లేదంటే కనుక పుట్టిలో చేస్తామా రియల్ టైమ్ లో?
Putty is not CMD prompt. It is SSH software, right? Git bash is also SSH, but it will give you the local prompt. You can do whatever you want.
But smaller on real time projects also putty or git bash also same.
See, that doesn't matter, bro. This is a simple running command. Okay. Putty is for purpose. So you need to understand why we are using putty. Putty is not for this purpose actually. Putty is to connect to the Linux servers.
Okay.
So this one is like command prompt, just like Windows command prompt. Okay. This
Okay,
command prompt is local, not server. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Radha, you have some question?
Yeah. Hi, Shiva. So,
Yeah, hi.
So when we apply Terraform destroy, it will delete the instance, right? I mean, any resource. So
Yeah,
will
it can delete.
Will it delete all the dependencies too?
Yes, that's what I have shown earlier, right? It deleted everything.
Yeah, not only the resource, all the dependencies.
Yes, everything it delete. Yeah.
Okay, but while creating, say, if I'm creating the VNet, but I didn't create the resource before the VNet. You said it will create the dependencies too. We don't need to worry, right? While creating as well as destroying, it will take care.
Yeah, it means while creating also, for example, dependency means what? You have 2 resources, 1 and then 2. Before creating 2, you must create 1.
Yes.
So generally, if you keep this 1 and 2 in a single TF file, okay.
Okay.
Ideally, actually, what you should do is, while For example, if you do with this order 2 and 1,
Okay.
when it is running, it should give an error. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Because 1 is not there. But Terraform, while creating 2, it can intelligently understand I should create 1 first, and then
Okay,
it will create
search
1.
for it
Yeah,
will
it will.
search for one first resource in the entire TF file.
Yes, correct.
Okay. If it don't find, it will give error. If it
Correct.
finds, it will create. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Yeah. Nash, you have some question?
Hi.
Hello.
My question was clarified actually.
Oh, nice.
If you don't mind, just a general question. I was into Azure actually, so Azure Cloud. I'm aware of good knowledge about Azure Cloud.
Okay.
How much AWS I need roughly, like AWS knowledge?
Actually, Terraform is independent, right?
Yes.
So it has lot of providers. So while learning Terraform, what you should understand is Terraform syntax and Terraform provider. And there are a lot of Terraform concepts like variables and then parameters, variables, and then data sources, locals. All these things are Terraform concepts. If you know Azure concepts very well, then whatever I am doing with AWS, similarly you can do. For example, what is the equivalent service for VPC in Azure?
VNet.
VNet. Okay, VNet creation using Terraform. The syntax is same. The Terraform concepts are same. Just you can see this is how like same Terraform provider, right? Same kind of resource. But these things will change. You should have that knowledge. So what is the type and what are the parameters? So you can get these things from Terraform documentation.
Okay.
Terraform VNet. This is module.
The names of the services will be different.
Yeah, just the name. You can go through this documentation, not Terraform registry. You can search here. Like how I got Terraform EC2. Similarly, you can find out. Wait, I'll show you. How can you exactly write the resource? Here documents, right? Here providers, HashiCorp, AWS. Now you just type VNet here. This is Google. Azure, go to Azure. Here you can see VNet. But these guys, yeah, here inputs. And here it is saying required inputs and optional inputs. Okay, so what are the required inputs here? It is saying name and then VNet location. Name, location. This is the resource group name. What is the space? So these are the things you can get it from here. Optional inputs as well as required inputs. Okay. Yeah, that's how you can search this documentation. Slowly you will understand.
It's simple, but need to understand the.
See, you can find any internet resource by seeing this. If you know the syntax, you can easily understand this parameters, right?
Yeah.
So in this Terraform course, you concentrate on how to use Terraform variables, how to use providers, how to use locals, how to do the module development. Then automatically you will understand. Okay, there is no cloud dependency for Terraform. You can use single Terraform code for multi-cloud also, right?
Yes.
So Azure guys who are here, just focus on this right for now. If you're practicing AWS, it is not very difficult. You just go and read the service. You know the concept already. Either AWS or Azure, cloud concepts are same. Just the terminology is different. Okay.
Thank you.
Final question from Parasuramudi. Parasuramudi, you have some question? Okay. Sivakumar Akella. Marnath Reddy.
Can you hear me, Shiva?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any plan like when we are going to learn what and all, like for the course?
Yeah. So that's what I have here.
Okay.
You can check this. So these are all we are going to learn.
Like
I cannot exactly prepare the plan. So
Okay.
first day, second day, like that, because these are the live classes, right?
Okay.
Everything is not in our control.
Fine.
This
Got it.
record, okay. But
Yeah.
anyhow, we are going to complete all these things. Every day I'll create the class. Just before 5 minutes, you log into the website and you'll see the join class button.
Okay. And then that Docker and Kubernetes will be taken care later.
After Terraform. So once the infrastructure is ready, then we can go for application deployment.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Shiva, sorry, you had called my name, so I was just
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, I have a simple question. So you have detailedly explained all the advantages of Terraform, but any disadvantage of Terraform which one has to keep in mind?
Terraform disadvantages, or there is a learning curve. If you are AWS expert, if you want, you can directly go and then create the resources, right? But if you want to use Terraform, first you need to know the Terraform concepts, and then you have to look into the versions. Just like your code. If you are a Java developer, what is the disadvantage of being Java developer? So every time you need to do some releases, every time you may get some defects, you need to clear those defects, all those things, right? So sometimes you feel, maybe very rare case, it is very easy to create the resource in console.
Okay.
But it takes some time to write the code. But once you write the code, then that's it. I don't say there are disadvantages. If you compare with any other tool like CloudFormation, so there may be some disadvantages.
Okay.
So definitely Terraform is popular. Everybody is using Terraform because of more advantages. 99.999% of these advantages.
Right. Thank you, Shiva.
Yeah, thank you. So that's all for today. I'm stopping here. So all of you, for today, you set up the environment and create the EC2 instance and just understand these advantages. Okay, we are going to prove these 7 advantages throughout our course.
Can we please get this text?
Yeah. I will create repo and then I will post it to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Bye. See you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good night.
Hello.
Bye-bye.
Shiva garu.
Yes.
One small question. So do we need to configure anything in Git bash to understand Terraform commands?
No, it's just like CMD prompt. Install Git bash and then search it here. That's it.
Okay. No. Okay. Just we need to go to that directory, and that directly we can.
Yeah,
enter
why I'm
Terraform
using
commands.
Git bash is here. It is like mini Linux. You can use Linux commands. So that's why.